Good afternoon, Carlos.
Good afternoon.
We're going to begin in a second, okay? I just want to wait until more students get into the class. All right?
All right, it's okay.
All right, nice. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to wait for a couple of minutes. Good afternoon, students. We're going to begin at 5 p.m. and 5 minutes, okay? Bolivian time, until we wait for all the students to get into the reunion, okay? But thank you very much for being so early here. I'm sorry, I was muted. Okay, So I was saying, guys, good afternoon. Thank you very much for being here with me. I am Carlos Oliveira, and I am going to be your teacher for the following weeks. I am so excited and so honored for being with you this afternoon. And I think that this is certainly a very, very, exciting moment for me. And I think it's basically the same for you because, the TOEFL exam, it's a very difficult, but very, it's also difficult, but it's also demanding. But it's a very, very satisfying exam once you have completed all your process, well, all your training process, and once you have achieved the desired score you have, or well, the desired score that you want. I think that you are going to certainly feel a lot of satisfaction. And I am here to collaborate you to go through all that journey until you get that, that desired score. Okay. So as I said through the WhatsApp group, this is going to be an introduction reunion. We are not going to have, we are not going to be studying the content itself of our reunions or of your preparation and your training for the TOEFL. But today we're just going to have some general instructions and some general knowledge that you certainly need to know about the TOEFL and also about executive English. Okay, so we're going to begin, and I'm going to share my screen with you so that we can see this presentation here. Okay, all right, awesome. So as I was saying, TOEFL, the TOEFL exam, it's a very, very demanding exam. And in executive English, we have been training people, preparing them for taking this exam for almost, for more than 5 years. And 10,000 students approximately have already had this training. And I think that in executive English, we are certainly prepared in order to help you to have that desired score. Many of you already maybe know what type of score you want to get in the exam, the TOEFL. And I think that you should trust that we are definitely going to be able to help you in achieving and attaining that goal that you have. That I know that many of you want to have the TOEFL, well, want to have a great score in order to get into university, to be accepted into an American university or in any university you want to study in a English, in a country that people speak English. And well, I think that definitely you have taken a great decision with being part of executive English and having these courses. Okay, so now I just want to remind you that this is going to be the only requirement that we have for you during the classes. It's super important for us to have you all having your cameras on. And why, maybe you ask? Well, because we consider that if you have your cameras on, you are going to somehow be more disposed to take, to pay attention to the lessons. And we really want you to retain what we are going to be having in this lessons and what we're going to be advancing and what we are going to be learning. Okay, so this is just a requirement in order to attain that. And well, it's necessary for you to know that we really want to have your cameras on. And this is going to be not only for this class, but for all the classes that we're going to have from now on. Okay, and just in case that, well, this is not a madness or something. It's just a reminder, a very friendly reminder that if you do not have your cameras on, I am going to have to get you out of the reunion for a while. And later, when you are able to have your camera on, you're going to be able to, to get into the reunion again through the same link, okay, that we are going to be sending every day to the WhatsApp group. But you are going to be able to get into the reunion whenever you want. So this is not like, a menace or a threatening statement. It's just a reminder, a friendly reminder that we want you to know, so that if you're not with your camera on, you're going to be exposed. I mean, you're going to be banned from the reunion, excuse me, and you're going to have the opportunity to get in once you have once you meet this requirement. Okay, it's just part of our decisions as an enterprise. All right. So as you know, the classes are going to be from Tuesday until Friday, and as you know, as many people were already commenting on the WhatsApp group, the classes for your group are going to be, I think, at 7 p.m. in Bolivian time, but for sure that many of you are from other countries, and I think that you already know more or less what type of conversion you have to make in order to know the exact time at which you have to get into the reunion. And well, as you can see here in this slide, we are going to have two types of classes. One is going to be the theoretical classes, and the other is going to be the practical classes. The theoretical classes, you're going to have them with me on Tuesday and on Thursdays, and we are going to be having classes and lessons about, you know, all the theoretical aspects that you need to know about the TOEFL, about the different sections, you know, the reading section, the writing section, the listening section, and all the sections basically. And you're going to be having, well, you know, general knowledge about it. You're going to see what type of questions you can expect in the actual test, and I'm going to be helping you with that. Okay, and after this theoretical questions, excuse me, after the theoretical classes, as I said, that are going to be on Tuesday and Thursday with me, you're going to have another teacher on Wednesdays and on Fridays. And with this teacher, you're going to be having practical classes in which you're going to practice everything that we have learned previously in their theoretical classes. So you're going to have not only, you know, a theoretical glance of how the actual test works, but you're also going to have a practical well, a practical scenario in which you're going to be able to put into practice everything that you have learned. Okay, so we want you to be aware of this so that you know that you're going to have all this type of preparation, not just theoretical and just, you know, books and texts, but you're going to have also practice, which is something that it's necessary. Definitely, I think that for a TOEFL, most of it is practice. Well, theory is very important because once you know how to approach the exam, you're going to take advantage of your practices, right? Because it wouldn't be really advantageous nor well, it wouldn't have any benefit, I think, to practice and practice and practice for a TOEFL and not really knowing how to approach the exam, because the exam, as I am going to say in advance, is not really difficult once you understand how it works. Because as you know, as many different exams and as many different tests, it's everything about the technique, and it's everything about the strategy that you're going to follow. Okay, so that is more or less the schedule or the structure of our classes. All right, so what is a TOEFL IBT? Well, maybe this is something a little bit repetitive. You obviously know what is a TOEFL IBT, but we are going to, in case you maybe do not know really what TOEFL means, for example, what does TOEFL stand for? TOEFL simply means Test of English as a Foreign Language, and it's an exam very old. It actually began in 1964. That was the year in which the TOEFL began to be a recognized a recognized exam and examination around the world for people who want to have a measurable and a professional review of their English. And well, I think that this is certainly one of the most famous, if not the most famous, exam in order for you to have your proficiency, well, evaluated and your proficiency somehow professionally reviewed, so that when you want to apply to universities or where you want to, for example, get into a job in an international enterprise or something like that, you are going to have the opportunity to have your English, your proficiency, your actual proficiency recognized and correctly evaluated, so that you're going to, so that people, for example, that are going to review your profile, whether for getting into university or for having a job, are going to know exactly what your level of English is. Okay, so there are just actually right now 3 types of the TOEFL exam. These are actually modalities of the exam. The content of the exam itself does not really change, does not really vary throughout these modalities. However, it's important for you to understand what these modalities are. Okay, the first one is the IBT version of the TOEFL, and maybe this is going to be the one that you're going to be, you're going to be taking, because it's the internet-based test. As you can see here, IBT stands for internet-based test. And well, this is basically a test which is held in a test center, depending on whether you live, for example, in Bolivia, or you live in any other country from South America or from Europe, or wherever you are listening this class from. You are going to have different test centers in which you are going to be able to take this exam in person, in front of a computer. Okay, and this exam is what we are going to be studying and what you're going to be learning how to approach in all these following weeks. Okay, and it's obviously the most common exam. It's the one that all people currently take, because it's not only the most, well, I would say it's the easiest one. in the sense that you have, well, the opportunity to be before a computer, and you have, when you're in a test center, you have the opportunity to have the staff helping you. If you have any trouble with your computer, you are going to have that security at least, okay? The other one is the paper-based test. As you can see here, the PBT version of the TOEFL test. And this is a, well, as the name explains, this is a test took in a paper basis. That is to say, if you would take this type of TOEFL IBT, of TOEFL exam, you will be taking it not before a computer, but with a paper and with your pencil or with your pen, and you will be writing, all your responses, and you will be, filling all the empty spaces and things of that sort. But this is not a very common exam. This is mostly from people. This is mostly directed to people from Africa or places in which internet is not available. But if you want to take it, the content is the same. If you are, well, thinking to take this exam version, you are definitely going to take advantage of the classes, because, as I say, the content is the same. Nevertheless, what changes is just the grading system, because I think, as you are going to know, and as I'm going to explain, the IBT test is scored in a spectrum, or in a basis of 0 to 120. That is to say, the lowest score is 0, and the highest score is 120. And in the PBT version, it's about 600 or 400, the maximum grade that you could have. But as I say, it's just a matter of the grading system, of the grading system, and it's not about the content. So this is not going to be that troublesome for you, okay? And actually, there's one more version that is not written here, but it's the TOEFL Home IBT version, which is a version that was available beginning the pandemic. Well, it began with the pandemic, actually, but it's basically the same that the IBT, that is to say, the internet-based test, but with the obvious difference that you're going to take it at home, right? You're going to take the exam not going to a test center, but you're going to take it in your house, at home, and you're going to do it with your computer, right? And, well, as I say, the content is the same. You're not going to be with more people. There's not going to be the staff supporting you, but there's going to be a person or a reviewer looking at you through your camera, if you have a laptop, or through a web camera if you have a PC. But it's basically that. It's the same exam, but from your home. Okay. All right. So who makes TOEFL? TOEFL, or the TOEFL exam, is made by ETS. That is a very, very old company. It was actually founded in 1947, if I'm not wrong. And this company is the same that actually makes the exams for other necessities in the professional environment. For example, the ERE, which is a very, or famously known as the GRE for people who are speaking Spanish as we do. This is the graduate report examination. ETS basically make the same exam, or, well, ETS makes as well this exam with different, of course, systems and with different contents, but the company is the same, and also actually collaborates with making the SAT, which is also a very famous exam, especially for the people, for those of you who want to get into an American university. You are certainly acquainted with the SAT, because the SAT is basically an examination or a test about the reading part of about your reading skills, or about your mathematical skills, right? But, well, it's basically a completely different exam than the TOEFL, and we are not going to get into that. Okay, so and that's it. And actually, here, as you can see in this slide, is reading a little bit about the Hamdishim, which is basically the same as the IBT version of the TOEFL, but you can take it at home. Okay, and here, for example, in Bolivia, there's an example here. There's a test center called the AISB in Cochabamba, Bolivia, where you can take the exam. Or as I can explain you, and as we are going to see actually in the following classes and in the following weeks, I am going to teach you how to register or how to enroll for taking the actual exam. And when we do that, you're going to be able to know how to choose, or how to know what test centers that are available in your city, available in the place you are living in right now, and you're going to be able to register yourself and to enroll into any of these test centers, which I think that if there are more than two, or if there are more than one, you're going to be able to choose, right? Which one you want to take your exam into. All right, moving on then. Why should I take the TOEFL exam? Well, I was, given some hints from the beginning of this reunion, but actually the TOEFL exam, as I said at the beginning, is an exam that helps people who want to review your profile to know your actual level of English. And what I mean by this is that there are some exams, there are some examinations that I would say do not really adequately nor precisely measure your actual level of English, but some exams, what they do is just to measure your ability in a specific area, maybe you're speaking or maybe you're writing. But in the TOEFL exam, what the TOEFL has as a aim or as an objective is to have people knowing your real and your actual capacity to speak in English and to write in English and to listen in English and to write in English in a professional environment or in an educational environment. Okay, so this is what the TOEFL works for. If you want to be, for example, accepted in a university abroad, as I said, you are going to be required to present an examination, and the TOEFL is certainly your best option because, as I said, this is going to always have a preference because there are other exams as the IELTS and other exams as the Duolingo exam, for example, which are also obviously examinations. They can measure somehow your English, but they are not that that valued as the TOEFL exam because the TOEFL exam is way more complete. And what the TOEFL exam does actually, and none of the other exams can do, is to demonstrate what is going to be your actual performance in an educational environment or in a educational scenario. And that is something that universities especially value very much, I would say, because they want to know how would you perform if you are taking a class in their institution. And I think that this is definitely your best option if you want to apply to university. To gain scholarships, to get scholarships as well. This is very related to the university setting. If you want to get into a university, as for example, I don't know, thinking, with the greatest example that I can imagine, it's Harvard or something like that, or Yale or Princeton, of any of the Ivy Leagues in America. And as you know, those universities are super expensive. And if you want to get there, if you want to get in there, you're going to need actually a scholarship or any of the other institutions in America, as they are very expensive. You're going to need a scholarship, and in order to compete with international applicants, you're going to have you're going to require very, very good and very solid English. And one of the best ways in order to demonstrate these reviewers or demonstrate these institutions that you do have the necessary English and actually you excel other participants or other applicants in a international setting or in an international scenario, you are definitely advised and suggested to take the TOEFL. And it can also help you with getting a job, right? Because nowadays, and especially from the pandemic, it's super common to have the opportunity to be working remotely for a international enterprise. Maybe if you are working in system engineering, for example, or if you're working for any field that requires you to work remotely, that does not require you to go in person to a enterprise. And especially if you want to work for somebody who is leaving or has actually their enterprise, or somebody who has his company in other country, you are definitely going to have the opportunity to present your TOEFL as a proof or as a demonstration that you have the necessary level and the necessary performance in English, right? So now let's get to know each other, in order to have this a little bit more didactic and also a little bit more refreshing, because it's a little bit boring to talk about the exam and just about the exam. I'm going to begin with this dynamic that we want to practice right now, which is, as I said, we want to know each other a little bit more. And we are going to, I am going to be requesting you, well, if you want to help me with saying your name, your city, why are you taking the course, or why do you want to take the TOEFL? There are a lot of motives. Maybe you, as I said, want to get into university. Maybe you want to work for a American company, for a British company. do you need a specific score in the test? This is something very important actually, because as I said, when you want to take this exam, there is no like a grade that you can obtain or that you can get and say, well, I approved, I could beat the TOEFL exam. That is not the way it works, because as I said, what the exam does is to measure your abilities, to measure your actual English. And depending on what institution you want to get into, or depending into what context you want to utilize this exam, the grade or the expected grade that you want to obtain is going to vary, certainly, because you want it for different purposes, right? All right, so I'm going to begin. As I said, I'm going to share this screen that was preparing. My name is Carlos Andres Oliveira, actually. Well, a little bit about me is that I have been a scholar from the American Embassy here in Bolivia. I'm from Bolivia, by the way. I'm not sure if I mentioned that, but I've been a scholar in different opportunities from the American Embassy, and I think that's the reason why I began to have this fascination for the English language, and why I had experience with the TOEFL exam, and I have had a lot of experiences with this exam. I've actually taken this exam twice in my life. The first one was in 2020, and the second one was in 2021. The first one, I took the TOEFL exam. It was so demanding for me. It was so difficult, because until that point, I had never really been requested to write about scholar topics, or about educational topics, or about scientific topics. That is something very usual and common when you are taking the TOEFL exam. And I had never been requested to speak before a camera and to have my voice recorded in English. So it was so demanding. But well, I think that I could have the score that I was expecting is something that I wanted to have. The first time I got 100 out of 120. And the second time in 2021, I got 110. I could, level up actually my score a little bit. I could have, as I said, a 110 out of 120. And I think this is definitely, that was my peak in this in this language. And I prepare a lot for the exam, because in 2021, I had the opportunity to receive a scholarship from the embassy, which is called Opportunity Funds. Maybe some of you are aware of that program, but Opportunity Funds, what does is that the American embassies in different countries in South America basically select some young people in order to pay for their applications to American universities. And at that time, I had like the Bolivian ambassador, like the American ambassador from the United States to Bolivia, requesting me that he wanted me to have a good score in this exam. And that's why I began to practice like in the morning, in the afternoon, at night. I did not I did not stop actually to study for that exam. I think that is the way that certainly you should work as well if you want to have a very good score. Okay, well, as you can see, I've been part of different organizations, of different summits. And if you want to know a little bit more about me, one of my greatest passions is actually to play with the Rubik's Cube. I don't know how many of you are aware of it, but the Rubik's Cube, it's basically a puzzle, as you can see here. And I am very I am very passionate about the Rubik's Cube. I am a competitor here from Bolivia. I've been participating in different tournaments, and this is something actually that has given me the opportunity to travel to different countries and to practice my English as well, because I am a competitor here. So well, that's a little bit about me, right? So I want you to talk a little bit about you. Who wants to volunteer for having a presentation? Who wants to make an introduction? Who would like to begin with that? One or two volunteers would be great. You want to practice? Yeah, for sure, Jadi. You can introduce yourself.
Okay, thank you very much, Carlos. Nice to meet everyone. My name is Yadi. I'm from Ecuador. I'm living in Quito. I'm an environmental engineer, but I decided to change my career because I didn't really like the career that I studied. So right now I'm studying for being a teacher, an English teacher. So I'm taking this course because I need the TOEFL, my C1, in order to be able to teach here in Ecuador. So this is the specific score. I think is 100 and more if I can. But if I can get a C1, it will be great for me. That's all. Thank you.
Great, Jelly. Thank you very much. I think that you're definitely going to be able to do it. Yes, 100 is a very, very good score. And congratulations. I think that it really requires you a lot of braveness to change your career. But if you're following what it's your passion, I think that you're definitely taking the right decision. Okay, but great, Jelly. Thank you. Thank you very much for your introduction. Who wants to go next? Do I have some volunteers? Make an introduction, very short one. It's not necessary to explain very much, just a very, very concise introduction. Or do you want me to pick up somebody? Well, I don't know. I think that the only man here is Carlos Caballero, so he's going to be my choice. Carlos.
Hello, teacher. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I'm Carlos. I'm from Bolivia, from Santa Cruz, to be specific. And why am I taking the course? Because I'm applying to a university in the UK, so they require me to get a 88 above or C1 level, I guess. And I'm actually an English teacher in my town, and so I guess that with that I'm practicing too. And
Oh, great, Carlos. Thank you very much. Awesome. Yes. It's definitely very demanding, especially like the European universities. They require a lot from you because when you think about it, especially in this application setting to international institutions, literally like the best people from the world are applying to European or to American universities, right? So they are really, really demanding. But I think that you're going to be able to, like Carlos, especially if you're an English teacher, you certainly have experience. And the only thing that you have to learn here to approach the exam, I think that you're going to do it great. All right. Somebody wants to make another introduction, or do you want to continue? I would like everyone actually to introduce, to make an introduction or to introduce themselves, but I'm going to pick one more person. I don't know. Bonnie Morales, you want to go next and to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name is Bonnie Morales. I'm from Cochabamba, Bolivia. Sorry, I'm taking this course because in August I'm going to go to the University of Kansas. So I previously take the Duolingo, but I needed TOEFL to enroll. So yeah, and I need 79. So, but I expect score like 80 or 90. I don't know. So yeah, that's it.
But also, Bonnie, excuse me, awesome. I think that it's great that you have already had a previous experience taking this other exam, because as you're going to see, I think there's more or less there's a relationship, certainly, I think, between all the content, the different contents that exam in particular and this one have. But I think that you're going to do well, especially if you are, if you have already been accepted into an American university, that means that you are definitely somebody who is proficient in English. So, but yeah, great. So we're gonna work on that, okay? So, okay, so we are going to move on. Actually, there's one more person, Genesis or Gina, or yeah, Genesis. You want to introduce yourself so that everybody has the opportunity to talk about a little bit about himself or herself?
Hi, my name is Marinette Genesis Callejas. I'm from Sucre, Bolivia. I'm taking this course because I want to apply for some scholarships in USA, so that's why I'm taking this course. And if I need a specific score, I will say more than 85. points. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Marines. Yes, as I can see, I think the American universities are like the more desired places to study into, and I think that makes sense actually, because well, the American system, it's incredible, right? America is it's as well my favorite country in the world. So that if I'm going to help you, I want to help you actually to have a very, very good score so that you can visit it at least. As I have not been able to, well, I mean to stay there and to study there, I really want you to have that opportunity and that privilege. Okay, so thank you very much, Genesis. And I want to listen a little bit about Carolina. Carolina, could you introduce yourself, please, so we can move on?
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Carolina, and I am taking this course because I need to approve the TOEFL exam and because I need to get my bachelor degree at a university. I'm from Peru, Lima. Well, the score that I need in the test is like 60 points.
Mhm.
60.
Yeah. Great, Carolina. Thank you very much. Yes. Thank you. So you're from Peru. I visited Peru in 2019, especially Lima, actually. So I know a little bit about your city. It's beautiful. I love it very much. So yeah, thank you very much, Carolina. I think that you're definitely going to be able to have those 60 points that you are expecting. And for all of you guys, I think that the key element here is going to be, first of all, understanding about TOEFL, understanding of how the exam works. And once you understand how the exam works, I think that you're going to be able to practice and practice and practice, as I myself did it, like from the beginning of the morning until the end of the night. If you practice, you are going to have that score, okay, that desired and waited for. Okay, so we're going to move on a little bit in order to explain very generally how does the exam work, or how is it, how is it structured? Because what we are going to know right now is how many time you are going to have for each specific section. As you know, and as it is very common actually, the TOEFL exam is going to measure the four areas that concern this language: the reading, the listening, the speaking, and the writing section. You are going to have, in order to complete all these areas or all these sections, approximately 3 hours is going to be what the exam is going to, what the complete duration of the exam is going to be. It's going to be like 3 hours and a half or something like that, including obviously your break, including all the delays that are going to obviously be present at that time or in the day that you are taking your exam, your test, but more or less so that you can know how much is going to long. It's going to be about 3 hours and a half. But for each section, as you can see here, for the reading section, you're going to have from 60 to 80 minutes in order to complete all that section. And why from 60 to 80 minutes? Well, because there is something that is called the experimental questions, or the experimental section in the TOEFL exam, which is basically a series of questions or a series of material that you're going to be receiving in your actual test, which is simply a way in which the ETS, which is, as I said, the company organizing and making all these exams, are constantly, examining and proving what type of questions or what type of content should they move or should they modify in your exam. So what they want with this extra questions or with this extra material that you're going to probably receive is to test that, is to know whether or not they have to change something, to adjust something. And there is the probability that in the reading section or in the listening section, you're going to receive this extra material, or as I said, this is not something that is going to be valuable or that is going to be included in your score, but it's merely a way in which they are going to, as I said, examine and know if the way that they are taking and organizing this exam works. Okay, so that is the reason why this is going to vary a little bit, because if you not receive that experimental section or that experimental material, your reading section is going to run no more than 60 minutes. But if you receive that extra material, it's going to run a little bit more because it's going to be 80 minutes approximately. And it is going to be because of that extra material, okay? And the listening section is the same. You can receive as well that extra material that is not going to be counted towards your final score, but it's just going to be a matter, as I said, of examination for the ETS. You're going to be basically helping this company to know if they have to change something, to alter something, to alter something, if they want to, improve, because that is a necessity of all companies, right? To improve constantly and having always a better service for their test takers, okay? After these two sections, as you can see, that are going to run approximately 2 hours, with all the variations I said, and with all the possible delays, you're going to have a break of 10 minutes in the exam. And later you're going to come back to the speaking section, which is the shortest one, because it's only about 20 minutes in order to be completed. And later you're going to have the writing section, which is 50 minutes approximately. And in these two categories, or in these two sections, you have the chance, or there's the probability that you're going to receive that that complementary or that extra information or that extra content. But in these sections, it's always going to be the same. So for these sections, you do not have to worry about receiving experimental material or something like that, because in these sections, you're not having that trouble, okay? It's just that possibility is just present for the reading and the listening part. But as I said, it's not something to be worried about, because in any sense, it's going to affect your real and your final score, okay? So with that said, we're going to move on then to the calendar, and with the system that we're going to be having in Executive English for you to learn how to approach and how to ice this exam, okay? All right, so as you can see, we are going to have actually 6 weeks of classes, okay? And in each week of classes, what it is going to happen is that we are going to have a separate topic. We are going to have a separate theme that we are going to be studying and that we are going to be learning, okay? These are separate topics. Why do I say this? Because there is no a relationship between any of these topics or any of these models, okay? It's just, as I said, a separate model in which we are going to learn about that specific section for all that week, or maybe it can be about 2 sections, but this is going to be for each week a different topic, okay? And the way it's going to work is that in this case, in your case, guys, I am telling you this right now, you are going to begin with the reading section. Why? Because there are obviously other groups that have begun this program before you, and you are going to be somehow attached to these previous groups that are already taking these classes and these lessons. But the way this is going to work is that you are going to be moving on to throughout all these weeks and throughout these topics. And this is going to be rolling, right? You are going to be this week in the reading week, which it is going to be about how to approach and how to practice for the reading section alone. And next week, you are going to be learning about listening. And next week, you're going to be learning about speaking. And next week, you're going to be learning about speaking. And next week, you're going to be learning about speaking 4 and writing 1. And the last week, you're going to be learning about writing 1 and 2, okay? So there's no necessity for you to worry about anything, because throughout these 6 weeks, you are going to have all the content of these lessons, okay? All the content that you need to know, all your 6 weeks are going to be presented to you, are going to be delivered to you. So the only thing that is going to be right here is, as I said, the week in which you are going to begin. You're going to begin right now in the week number 2, but you are going to receive your training about the week number 1 later at the end of your classes with us, okay? So is it clear? Do you have any question about how is this going to work? Because this is like, the general structure that we're going to be following for the next weeks. So do you understand that this week we are going to be having the reading preparation for you to take, and next week we are going to begin with listening, later with the speaking, later with speaking again, and finally writing. Do you understand that? Is it clear? Or do you have any question about how this is going to work? Because if it's clear, we actually got it all. Okay, I think that it is clear, as you can see. Okay, but it is very easy, okay? So we are going to begin this week with the reading section. Next week, we are going to begin with the listening, and so on and so forth, until the last week for you is going to be writing 1 and writing 2. Okay, you're going to receive all your instruction, all your classes. The only thing is that you're not going to begin with the week number 1, but the week number 2. Okay, but at the end, you are going to receive writing 1 and writing 2 as well. Okay, that it's actually everything about the general classes, but now I'm going to explain a little bit about the speaking sessions. Maybe you have already been somehow, informed about this. Maybe you have not, but one of the several advantages actually of having classes with executive English is that you are going to have these speaking sessions, which are personalized sessions, in the sense that you are going to be having the opportunity to enroll yourselves or to separate for yourself 12 15-minute calls, which are going to be reunions, one-in-one with me or with the other professor, in which we are going to practice the speaking session or the speaking section alone. We are going to be in a Zoom meeting for 15 minutes, and everything that we are going to do in those separate reunions is to practice for the 4 tasks that you're going to find in the speaking section. Okay, and you can reserve or you can separate this 15-minute calls whenever you want. There's going to be on our website a calendar in which you're going to be able to register yourself and to separate the days you want to take this calls. And what we're going to do, as I said, is to reunite with me or to have a reunion with the other professor, and we're going to practice the speaking sessions alone, because this is definitely one of the more troublesome sections, because you need to not only speak English fluently and with a good pronunciation and knowing about how you're going to organize your ideas and how that you're going to deliver all your responses, but you also have to struggle against time, because for the speaking section in the TOEFL exam, you're going to have no more than 1 minute in order to deliver a response about passages or about lectures that are, I think, 3 minutes long, so that you're going to have or you're going to require actually a lot of training in this specific section in order to beat it and to know how to approach it. Okay, so as I say, you are going to be able to reserve those calls of 15 minutes with me. Beginning right now, you can go to our website, to executiveenglish.com, and you can go there to your account, to log into your account, and you're going to be able to reserve this calls. Okay, and if you have any question, you can contact the person who is in charge of all this organization details, which is Ruth. Maybe you have already had the opportunity to chat with her, but she is actually part of our WhatsApp group right now. And if you have any question or any difficulty with registering and enrolling to this calls of 15 minutes with me, you can contact her. You can get in touch with her, and she's going to very kindly and very gladly help you in order to have this organized so that you can have those meetings with me. Okay. Is there any question about this speaking sessions? Something that maybe you do not understand how this works?
Teacher, I have one question.
Yeah, for sure.
You said that we have to go to executiveenglish.com in order to receive the speaking sessions, or I mean, there is a schedule. We have a schedule for this. We have to look for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's no schedule there, and what you have to do actually, because what I have done is to say, Ruth, that on Wednesdays and on Fridays, I am having right now time at night in order to have these meetings with you, so that you can reserve your time from 8 p.m. until 10 p.m. at night, okay, or in the night. So what you can do is go to this website and you can select what of those specific times you want to have the meeting, okay? So what you can do is to go to our website and to reserve one of those 15 minutes from 8 p.m. until 10 p.m. and you can go and choose a specific time and a specific moment, and we are going to have the calls at that time. Okay, do you understand?
Yeah, it's with reservation, you say, right?
Yeah, right, exactly, with reservation. You are going to reserve, and later you are going to receive an email saying, stating all the details, and you're going to receive the link through that email as well, because for sure when you're logging in you have stated your Gmail, right? So what you have to do is basically reserve and everything, and all the necessary preparations are going to be delivered to your email. Okay. Awesome. Is there any other question about this or about everything that we have talked about in this session? No questions. All right. That's great. That's great. Okay. So and last thing I want you to know is that every single class we are going to have the exercise, or we're going to have the activity, or the necessity of filling a survey, which is going to be available right now here. I'm going to display it actually. It's a poll that you have to anonymously fill. That is very important. And what is this poll about? Well, this poll is going to be about what do you think about the class up to date, okay? We are going to respond whether or not you understood everything that we have talked here in this reunion, whether or not you have liked the class, if you believe that there is something that I can improve. And this is anonymous, okay? I'm not going to know which person specifically is feeling or saying what thing, or what not things are you saying. So you're going to be able to fill this poll, to fill this survey anonymously. And the objective of this poll is just to help the company to know, what type of adjustments that are to be done, or everything that we can improve. Okay, so I am going to launch actually the poll, and you can fill it please right now, so that we can finish with our session. And as I said, this is completely anonymous. I'm not knowing who of you is responding what, so you can fill it with honesty and with your opinion. Okay, please, so you can complete it. You can complete it according to your this is necessary that all of you feel it. Okay, nice. I think that everybody has. Okay, yes, awesome. So everybody has feel it. Okay, awesome. So now that we have completed that poll, and this is going to be a poll that we're going to be, launching every single class or session that we have, so that you can always express your opinion. All right, awesome. So we are going to end them with that. And now, well, that is everything. That is all for today's class. As you can see, this just have been very general statements and very general information about the exam, the TOEFL exam. And now, well, as I said, I am going to be waiting for you every single Thursday and every single Tuesday and Thursday actually. And we are going to be having our classes about this week is going to be about the reading section, so you can expect that. Okay, we are going to begin knowing what types of questions you can expect, what types of strategies that are to approach this section. You are going to know everything. Okay, this is a very, very good presentation that I have prepared for you, and I think that you are definitely going to be able to have a good score at that section. Okay, so is there any question before we finalize and conclude this reunion? Maybe you want to say, maybe a commentary or something? No?
Where can
Yeah.
I see the recorded classes?
Oh, great. Good question, Carolina. The recorded classes are going to be always uploaded to a YouTube account that we have in Executive English. This class, however, is not going to be uploaded because this is the introductory class, but the following classes are going to be, as I said, recorded and transmitted through YouTube. We are going to be, notifying you with that link or with that YouTube channel, so that you can follow us there, and you're going to be able to watch the classes all the times you want to, all the times you think it's necessary for you to understand the content. Okay, so I'm going to help you with the link as fast as I get it, because I need to receive it from Ruth as well.
Okay.
Okay, great, Carolina. Thank you very much. Okay, is there any other question maybe before we conclude with this common reunion? All right, awesome. I think That's all. Okay, so thank you very much, you guys, and I see you tomorrow, actually, at 7 p.m. Bolivian time. Okay, thank you very much, and see you. Have a great day.
Okay, thank you, teacher.
Thank you,
Bye.
teacher. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.